Hi guys, welcome to Bunny's Designs. Welcome to Bunny's Designs. Let's see if we can get working in Johanna Basford Ivy Ivy in the Inky Butterfly, but I've had a bit of a blob with my Derwent graphic liner pen. So when I have a blob, what I tend to do is I grab my Johanna's Magical Jungle and I colour in a whole page in tonal value. And that was the definition of having a blob, because I don't want to waste this beautiful ink. So really quickly, because I've got the blob, I'm using a damp rigger and I'm going to take to the colour. I do not want to waste it, and it won't keep. It's an acrylic ink. And I just want to use it on this page. And I've chosen this page because it's not my particular favourite. So I kind of, it doesn't bother me that I'm just colouring it in one colour. But what normally happens is when I finished it, I actually normally quite like it. So I'm trying to keep it a little bit different. So I want to work as quick as possible because it's very warm in my room today. I'm having a bit of a heat wave, and in the shade in my room it's already about 83. So it's quite a warm day. So probably try to keep away from where you for two reasons. One is it's still damp, but it's only just barely damp. That's probably dried now. It's just a barely damp rigger. And what that does, it allows you to get maybe a little bit of a watercolour effect if you want to. Now, I don't tend to get one when I do this because I'm picking up too much colour. Oh, hi guys. Hi Kingo. Hi Suzanne. Darla. Sandra. Welcome to Bunny's Designs. Ustream was playing up, so I decided, seeing as we're coming over here permanently very soon because of Ustream, which was wonderful to use it while we had it, but I, for one, really can't afford to pay. So instead of losing my streaming, I'm going to pop over to YouTube, sorry. And that's going to get a bit used to, I can tell you. So thanks, guys, for popping over. Hope everybody's well. Ustream just decided it didn't want to record any videos for me. So, again, that's another reason to pop over. So I'm doing this. Oh, my goodness. I'm going to move the camera. It's getting very sunny in my room. So bear a second. You just have to move everything slightly in the dark. So there we go. That should be a little bit better for a while. Oh, maybe another one. Move something side of the desk across. That's better. So you can see this wanting to dry up as we go along. But the other thing this does is it makes you think about tone, because obviously you've only got one colour. So you have to think about tone. You're practicing going in and out the lines, which is always good, because I always seem to go over. So you're practicing your brush skills as well. So obviously, because I've done that bit, I don't want to do anything else around there apart from maybe these dark. And I love these graphic liner pens, but I'm using them in a very tight Yorkshire lass way, because I really do not want to spray them all over watercolor paper. I think you'd probably go through a pen per page if you did that. I mean, talking about a huge one, not a small one. And all the videos on YouTube, you know, you splash them all around and you blow on them and you make sprays with them. And I don't really want to do that. I want to use them in my color books. And in order to do that, I have to have a damp rigger. So I can go darker there and darker there. But then, yeah, that one I want to be pale. So you can see, oh, sorry guys, you can see that once you've touched a darker area, you're going to have some purple. So you can go back into that one. So that's how you get some nice tonal shades next to each other, by going first like this and then probably looking for something paler nearer, and then that one's the palest. Now I do have, that's the number 1 Daler Rowney rigger, number 1. This is the Art Master Pearl Series 55, and this is the 10-0. And this is the one I use for small spaces because it seems to be perfect for small spaces. So you have to accommodate the brush for the size of pattern that you're doing. So I want that to be fairly pale now, I think. If I go kind of a lot in there. Now, the other thing is you might run out of purple, so you can always go back and just kind of do something. I'm just trying to think what I want to do. I think I might leave the teeth white, I think, and go round. I don't normally. I think I might. Now, I do have a small hair on the end of this paintbrush, which is driving. I think I've got it. No, I haven't. If this ink to dry out, it wouldn't reconstitute back because it's an acrylic ink. So rather than waste it, I pick a page that I probably am not terribly interested in colouring. And there are always going to be an odd page or two that you don't like, even in your favourite book. I've got quite a lot on here now. I can do this bit here. And you see, I didn't have enough on the brush. Sometimes you always have to, if I go back now, and that was quite a big space, that one. So, bear with me 2 seconds, guys, and I'll just have a look at chat. Oh, hi, Piccola. Hi, Tina. Darla, Claudia, anybody else popping in? Welcome to Bunny's Designs. Dazzle D. Thanks for stopping by, guys. Just pop them in cat. Not good. Can everybody see okay? This is a live YouTube stream. I thought I needed the practice. So thanks, guys, for popping by. Do I have to do anything, Suzanne, if I'm pixelating? I wonder if it's... wonder if it's because I'm zoomed in too much. Maybe it's the sun. Do we think it's the sun? Just shut that for a second. Kind of mask to where I can be seen. Do you think that's any better, guys? Does it need something to perhaps focus on? So thanks for we're all okay. Haven't all the different buttons, so I need a bit of practice. I think this is the second time that Ustream's refused to record, so I thought that would do better. So I may have to find a different room to stream in if I'm going on YouTube then, so we'll have a look. So again, probably this is one of the particular pages that I wouldn't be all that interested in colouring in. But it's quite nice to do a tonal one. And again, I don't want to throw this ink away, so it's another way to use it. So we will get back to Inky and the butterfly in a little while. It doesn't take long. It really, especially if you wanted some really nice strong colours, it does not take long at all. Oh, hi, Miss Q. Welcome to Bunny's Designs. Anyone else popping in? I thought we'd have a bit of a play over here because I couldn't record on Ustream. So, and we are popping over here permanently. So I think mine next week. I think I might actually stay with Ustream. Sorry, YouTube, beg your pardon. Oops, somebody loves me. I think somebody loves me. So I kind of like that. I'm going to finish this bit off here. And of course, I may have another blob in the next few days, so I'm sure I can get back. But it's just not a particularly bothered about finishing this one because it is not a lot busier than this. But as I said, did not want to throw away all this gorgeous paint. So even though you do get a blob, you can do this. And I found that I actually quite like thinking about tonal values because normally I don't get a chance to think about those. Oh dear. So probably just finish this bit. That's working in the Inky and the Ivy butterfly. Oh, hi Tina. Anybody else I missed? Welcome to Bunny's Designs. I'm working in Johanna Basford's Jungle book because I've got a blob of purple, and it's far too much to use in Inky Ivy and the Inky butterfly. But I'm not necessarily keen on skulls, so I thought I would use this page up. And there isn't too much now, so I'm going to do the bigger spaces. And then I can always go back. So bear with me, guys. I will be back in the butterfly book in a second. And as you can see, it does not like warm air conditions. They dry up very quickly. So I think that's probably as much as we're going to get from here now. So I've used most of it up, so I'm quite a happy girl. The rest has dried very quickly. Now you can clean this quite easily. It comes off with a face wipe or a baby wipe, but it goes bitty, so you can't reconstitute it back. So it's not water-based. Again, eventually it's going to look something like this one. This is the one I did before when I had a blob. And so I do quite like the colours. I like the colours. And it just happens that that's the next one. So we'll go back to the page we were working on. So now we're back on. So I do like these inks, and I really wanted to colour Ivy and the Inky butterfly with inks. But rather than buy some, I was looking to buy quite a few different ones. And then I remembered I had these Derwent graphic liner pens, and I realized that, well, perhaps they are an ink base. They're acrylic ink. So again, now you do have to shake them the first time you use them. So mine have been sat for a week or two. And I use them on a wet china or ceramic dish. An ordinary ceramic white plate would be good. I put a little bit of a dampness on it, and that just helps to keep it moist a little bit longer. And then I shake, and all I do is I just scratch a little bit. Now, most of mine are blobbing out quite a lot, but I scratch a little bit of colour, and then I find a space where I want to be. So I think I'm going to do this label. Now, They normally behave a little bit better than this, but it's very warm in this room today. And I need something else blue. I might just put some blue in that, make it a little bluer. I kind of want it very inky. So that's why I'm using them kind of watered down and muted together. So I've still got some more blue here. What would I like to be blue? There's a little fan just on the edge here. I think I'll just give, see if we can constitute that brown and pink. No, you see, once it's dried, it's gone. So I wet it a little bit, and then I think we'll have a bit of, oh, we had pink and blue. I think we'll have a little bit of red. And I just scratched the smallest amount, quite tight Yorkshire lass, and then pick that up, and then kind of, if you blend it, you get kind of 3 colours. And you get like a bit of a mauvey kind of purpley colour. I've got the vase to do. I think I'm going to use that red again. And as I say, it is you just scratch the colour. You normally get a decent amount, and it's already watered down because it's sitting quite happily. I think we'll have a green jug with some red. And one thing I'd like to do, if I can, is put, I know it's one of my sketches. It's one of my sketches of my books, but it'll be fine. Just to take off a nice neat edge. I think I'm going to put just a bit of blue through that. Oh my goodness, it's always that purple one that blobs. It can drive you to distraction sometimes. Oh, I beg your pardon, it's the blue one that's gone, so I need a different page. It's the blue one that's gone this time. Sorry, Bungle's having a bit of a moan, so we'll pick this one. Oh, I'm sorry, Suzanne. I don't know how to do that. I'm just learning. I don't know if anybody else knows how to post a link. I just thought I would pop over, seeing as I'm going to take my live show will be on YouTube, and I think I'll be doing it now. I think, and I want to be fairly careful. I think I want to start it next week. So I think next week will be permanently Thursday live on YouTube. So I have quite a lot. Oh, apologize. Oh, that's the baby. Sorry, guys. That's the babe. Thank you, darling. Would you like to feed Bungle?
Yeah, in a minute.
He's...
I just depends on washing it off.
Yes, please. Thank you, darling. Otherwise, it'll drive everybody insane. Yes. Bungle is a rescued cat, and sorry, not a rescued cat. We adopted him from the RSPCA, and he's a female. He's a cat version of Alfie, Mr. Demanding. Right, there's a little bit too much on here, really, for me. I like to take my time. I'm trying not to rush it too much, because even though it's a blob, and I want to use the paint up, and I'm desperate to get back to Ivy in the Inky Butterfly. You know, I really want to do a decent job on this page as well. I'm not just kind of scribbling for the sake of scribbling. So I'm trying to keep within the lines, but I'm conscious that the blue will start. Now, I did a lovely blue one. I think the red one blobs, the purple one blobs, and this one called Billy, this one blobs as well. But it's quite a nice colour. But Bungle is definitely, he's a cat version of Alfie.
Betsy. There's Betsy.
Oh, Miss Q says you've got 5 Norwegian forest kittens and their mum. Oh, they're all rescued. Well, Bungle's mum is still there. Perdita. No, I beg your pardon, not Perdita. Perdita was the other mum. Perdita's still there to be rehomed. And I'm going to make another short trailer of all the older cats, because there's quite a few really loving older cats that need a home. And Betsy, it's taken 8 months for Betsy, but she's just about happy now. It's taken a long time with Betsy. But Bungle, bless him, because he was a kitten, he's spoilt. So he's another Alfie. And Alfie's the King Charles, and he's spoilt as well. So they're all spoilt. We are about to lose our lurcher that we've had for about 12 or 13 years. So that's going to be very sad. Unfortunately, she can't be saved. She's had quite a nice, peaceful life. So no, it is very warm in my room. So I think I want that to be pale. So that's pale. So that works quite well, actually. That. Oh, sorry, guys. The sun's creeping round again. Oh, you have 13 now. Oh, my goodness. Did anybody find out how to post on the web? Did anybody find out how to do it? I have to say I don't know how to do it. I will look it up though. So we'll have I think we'll have our first one next week, I think. And I think I'm going to be doing like I used to before. I used to be on a Monday before DD and on a Wednesday before DD. So I think I'm going to go back to Mondays. So I should be streaming 9 o'clock UK time, London Greenwich Mean Time, on Mondays and Thursdays. So I'm kind of enjoying myself. It's okay. I'm doing. And I've got nothing else to do because if I don't do this, it will waste. So technically, I'm colouring a page instead of throwing all this ink away. And I've tried all sorts of ways to save it. And you can't. I wonder if you could actually squeeze it back in. Oh, that might be an idea. Oh, you see, it's everywhere. What I normally do is clean it off here first. Is actually clean it off the whoopsie, that's a bit wet. This is pure ink, this. Unfortunately, these pens, when they blob, it's wonderful when they blob on watercolour paper, but of course, we're not on watercolour paper. So and I just can't bear to throw all this ink away. So, again, still cleaning the brush at the moment. Not actually getting anywhere near what was on the dish. Now, I do normally work a lot slower than this, but I'm rushing because I'm conscious of the fact we are supposed to be working in Ivy and the Inky Butterfly. I think I'm going to, what am I going to do with this? I've got so much now everywhere. So much blue. It is a beautiful, it's a purple blue. It's almost a French ultramarine. It's a beautiful purple blue. It's just, I don't really want 10 gallon of it. But there we go. Right, so we'll paint these next. Don't know if I like, see if I can zoom out a bit, see if it looks a little bit better. No, unfortunately. I can't. So I think if you think about light and dark and tonal values more than, you can make something work really well. Now, I'm not sure if this will, because it's a mandala and it's kind of a pattern, and I don't normally do patterns, but I think this is going to take quite a long time, guys. Sorry about this. I just can't think what else to do with this paint. Finish the flowers and then see if I can. I might put this on a canvas background. With it being acrylic, it will dry, so I think I might do that. I'll put that on a background. I just have to do the same blue flowers. And I think we'll be here till Christmas, won't we? Yep, I think we are going to be here till Christmas. So I'm going to be back just a second. I'm going to just put this on. I'll be back in a second. I'm just going to put this onto a canvas. a canvas. All day. Oops. I want to work in here, and then I want to work in the Oz one as well. So I think I'm going to see if I can put these this way up. So I'm just going to shake them all up. So I should be a bit more clean my so the ink when it's dry comes off quite well. It's just it comes off in bits, so it will not constitute back into a liquid again. So I've cleaned that. So I wasted a little bit, but never mind. Can't be helped. To be a bit careful, a bit more careful. Oh, hi Judy, welcome to Bunny's Designs. Anybody else popping in I've missed? I'm working in Ivy and the Inky Butterfly, and I'm trying desperately to stay in the shade, and it's fading fast. So if I go here, right, I'm just going to have to move slightly. I didn't expect it to be quite a sunny day, so I think what I'm going to have to do is record in another room, I think, because it's too sunny in this one. It's too sunny, so I need to create my own. That should be better, guys. I didn't want to drop anything and make a I like sometimes to do that. So I'm going to put mine actually on there, but I would be a bit careful because it is an acrylic ink. Hi, Amy. Anybody else popping in? Welcome to Bunny's Designs. Just having a play or trying to colour. Keep having blobs. They are not the best things to use, aren't these graphic pens? But when they do, they have a nice inky effect. But they're not designed to be used like this. They are designed to flood and to be used on a big canvas and a big watercolor paper, and you're supposed to splash with them and splatter with them, and they're not designed to be used like this. And this is very difficult to do. It's just I don't want to waste them, and I do like the way that they're turning out. It's just it's not the easiest thing in the world to do, I have to say. So just in case I wouldn't buy them for using in a colour book. and they all want to blob because that's what they want to do. But if you can get a little bit out of them, that's better. And then just kind of and just use a little bit, then that's what I like to do. Really don't like to waste them. I think I might just, I'm going to get that Billy one out for a while. But the purple one normally blobs as well, so we're just as blobby. Oh, goodness gracious me. Yeah, they're just not behaving themselves today. Maybe it's the heat. I don't know, maybe it's the heat. Sorry guys, they really are not behaving themselves. I don't normally do this much mess. But I like the inky effect, and again, this is what I wanted to use. I wanted to use an ink for Inky and the butterfly, but it's turning out to be not as easy. So I've only got one little tiny bit done. Oh yes, Suzanne. But they are expensive, but they are for liners. But they are designed to blob, as I say. You're supposed to have a huge wet watercolor paper, massive big canvas, and throw these all over, and splash and splatter and mix them together on a huge piece of watercolor paper, and you get some fantastic, wonderful effects. They're not designed to go on a color book, but of course I want to. Just going to look to see if I would like a monochrome page in here. Oh, the butterflies might do monochrome. I think I might do this butterfly. So I just move the camera slightly. Right, I think that's it. So of course I'm going to use a smaller brush because I really don't want to be. I'm going to use my 10-0, just barely damp, pick a little bit of colour up. What's the next one? Oh, that's a Pro Art 2. Let me have a look at that one. So I think actually these will lend themselves to quite a nice monochrome. Now, you do really need to keep your brush damp. Having difficulty staying in the line, actually. So I think you kind of have a think of what's happening with the brush. you think it's getting paler, you can decide to go somewhere and it's not too bad. So you do get this really nice effect. So keep the dunk the brush, twist on a bit on a face wipe, get your point, and then I'm just going to put a little drop of water just on that, just to keep it from drying out, because it's not a happy bunny. And then we can manipulate that where we want it. Now, I got a lovely highlight effect on there, but I didn't really want one, so. Again, probably go back to our number one. What's that one? Go back to our number one brush and so, sorry I can't read chat at this second, guys. I'll be with you in a second. So welcome to Bunny's Designs. This is a live YouTube stream. So I'll be live. Bunny's Designs will be moving to YouTube from Ustream. I think next week. I think we'll have our first YouTube official, because it refused to let me record this afternoon. So I think it's telling me it's time to go. So thanks for joining me. This is a practice run, and thank you to all my wonderful subscribers. I appreciate all your comments, and I do try to act on everything that you say. I'm not scared of constructive criticism if I can actually do something about it. So if you have any requests, or if you've got anything you want to ask me, be interesting to know what everybody else is using, what medium you're using in Inky, Ivy and the Inky butterfly. I was just thought all these references to ink, I couldn't really do it in any other, because I love the way the inky things happen. I think I want to do that quite dark, so I'm going to pick up quite a lot. Now, unfortunately, I have a rogue hair on the end of this paintbrush, so it's driving me a little scatty. So if I can find a pair of scissors, if not, the next best thing is to find another paintbrush. That's the same brush, and it has no rogue hair on the end, so that's quite nice. So I think, again, you've got to be comfortable. Even if it means turning your book around, it has to be comfortable. If it's not comfortable, that wasn't quite wet enough. I think I might just have to wet around there again. I don't really want it too wet. Just want really strong colour in there. And in there too. And then when you think it's going paler, that's the time to move somewhere else. So that's when you end up with some really nice different tones next to each other, because you need to put them next to each other. And so I don't normally work this way. This is because I've had a blob. I did like the blobs before, so I thought I would use them. I've just realized I didn't want it going through, but I don't think it will. So again, if you make too much of one color and you don't want it on that particular page, you can always use it somewhere else. Sorry about the barking, it's feeding time at the zoo. Alfie is shouting, "Me first, me first," even though he knows that ladies first. We have an old lurcher. Unfortunately, she's not going to be with us much longer. Bless her socks. So we'll be down to 2 dogs, and although Alfie's probably enough like for 10. Alfie has his own website, but he only has 1 video up at the moment, and that's tea in bed with mum. Every morning he has a saucer of tea. Oh, I kind of like that. It's coming on quite nicely. I've got a bit of difference. Oh, hi, Katrina. Darla, anybody else I've missed? Welcome to Bunny's Designs. Hi, Kenny. Hope everybody's well. So again, because I'm now doing this, not kind of rushing it, you can think about darks and lights. So after you've done a couple of shapes, like here, this is now going to a highlight. So if I'd have done that the other way around, it might have looked okay, but it doesn't matter. Wetting the brush, picking up the color, and starting on the other side. So I should have the same effect on the other side. And it's something else to think about. It's thinking about tonal value, because that's all you can think about. It's all you've got. All you have is 1 color. And an Alfie barking. So I'm probably going to put some splashes on this as well. I think I'm going to be, I like the idea that it's inky. So there's going to be some inky splashes in a bit when I get to the end. But sometimes it's quite nice to take just 1 color. And of course, this is a lovely purple. So it's quite nice sometimes to take just 1 color and then kind of go with it. So I think I'm in frame all the time, so that's quite good. Oh, these paintbrushes, this is a Dale Rowney Graduate. And I like one, I have 1, 2, 4, and 6. That one has a rogue hair on it, so I'm going to have to get rid of that one. The thinner one I love is the 10-0 Art Master Pearl Series 55. So those 2 are normally quite good. And then when we have the number 2 brush, which is about somewhere, there's the number 2. So we've got 1, 2, and we've got the fine one. And that's what it looks like before. You dunk it, twist it, draw it back on a baby wipe, and it goes to a point. So there you've got, it should be like that, I think, shouldn't it? Is that number 2? Yeah, that's number 2, 1 and. So I like those two. Number 2 is for bigger spaces, but I don't think any of these are big enough for that. So normally my favorite one is the number 1. It's probably why the other one's got a rogue hair on it, because I've used it quite a lot. So I think we may go to kind of a stripe on this one, I think. And of course, by the time you get to here, we're quite pale. And after you've done this for a little while, you'll get used to the inks, and you'll also get used to the brush you're using, how damp it is, and how much paint you're picking up. So eventually you can mirror anything you want. Now, I don't know if I want to mirror it, but I probably will. What I do on one side, I'll do on the other. So that would be a dark 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so this would be dark. So this is full color. And this is next. I think that one's going to be this. I think that one is actually going to be the same. Yeah, it's the same, you see, because we've gone 3 that way and 3 that way. So those two are going to be the same. But it's still quite nice. It's still quite nice. I do like synthetic brushes, because I think it's a waste to use. I do have some pretty ones, some hog hair and some squirrel and all the beautiful watercolors. But actually, I think it's a bit of a waste, because in a color book, I like them to kind of be a bit workhorsey. So I'm going to put a dark one there. Remember what I said about a dark next to a light? The lighter ones look lighter and the darker ones look darker. So there is a word for it in the art term, but I can't remember what it's called. So apologies for that. I think that wants to be quite dark. And that was the same. So again, I'm going to go back over that one really quickly. You don't want one the same. That wants to be dark. And I'm not, all I'm doing is working in different places. And I have to be a bit rushed because this paint is drying out very quickly. I think I'm going to do this bit next. And this bit. It doesn't take long, and again, you're thinking about instead of colors, so it gives you, when you next do something else with lots of colors, you've already kind of done quite a lot of things, if that makes any sense. Because although you don't realize it, the tone of a color next to the tone of another color really does kind of make a difference. But normally we just see color. But it's like putting a very dark, very dark, really dark green, almost a midnight black green, next to a white rose, or the palest of pink rose you can imagine, and then putting it next to the darkest rose you can think of. See the difference, and that's all about tone, not just color. And if you want to see if your color pages work, photocopy them in black and white, or take a photograph of it and turn it into black and white. And if the tonal works, if the tone and the photograph actually works, you know it's going to work in color. It works in color. So I used to do that a lot. When you think you've nearly finished a painting, you take a photograph of it, and then you take a print of it in black and white. And if it works in a black and white picture, then you know it's okay, it's perfect. Does that make any sense? I hope so. Which means sometimes your colours are gorgeous, but your tones are out. And you can only tell that if you make it black and white. Oh, hi, Oprah. Welcome to Bunny's Designs. So I seem to have got quite a lot. Sometimes I leave the white. So I think I'm going to put that one in there. I think I want this one kind of dark. And even though you're just practicing with one, you are practicing your brush strokes, thinking a bit more about tonal value and lights and darks. And of course, you're not throwing away that big blob of paint. And then if I want that to be very dark, I think I do actually. I think I want this to be really dark. Because I'm going to leave the white. Sometimes I leave white. Now my brush is actually drying out really fast. I lost my little dots, but never mind. Sometimes you just can't help it. So I've got this bit here now, and again, I like that to be kind of dark. Yeah, my brush is definitely dry. It's not damp anymore now. Brush. Some birds tweeting. My fan in the background as well. So we'll get all the very strong ones out of the way. It's always easier to use the nuts, because if you try to paint backwards, you'll just end up having a mess. I think I've done about maybe six of these. I think I've had 6 blue, but I've been very pleasantly surprised that you do start to think about tone, and then when you go back to color, you are thinking about the tonal value as well. So So I do need to have a wet brush. Pick this up. And then across. So unfortunately, it's difficult for me to see chat, so I may have to rearrange the fixings. But I think what I'll probably do is I'll stream in another room, because it's very, very nice in this room, but it's noisy and there's always little birds and dogs barking. It'd be perfect for a paint along, but not very good when you want to do a quiet stream. And I have to say, mine are very quiet and very boring, very quiet streams. Oh, thank you. Thank you. We have to think, where do we want the darks and where do we want the lights? I think we've got darks down there. And when you've done something like this, your brush strokes, your brush skills rather, have definitely improved. And you also, it's all to do with how much paint's on the brush. And although you don't realize it, that's another thing that you are learning. By the time you finish something like this, you think, hang on a minute, I just want a small dot of paint if I'm doing that small area. Or my paintbrush needs to be a little bit damper if I've got a bigger area. So you're learning lots of skills while you're doing this. And as I say, as a tight Yorkshire lass, I can't bear to throw it away. So, of course, we've got to do the middles. So I think it's going to take a blob to finish this. Just going to put some water to that, because so we want this dark, and then we want this dark. And you do have to concentrate, so it's otherwise you can make a boo-boo. I think that's why I don't like mandalas very much, because you've really got to be thinking about shape. And I have enough trouble thinking about colour and tone without thinking about shape. So we've got this one done on the outside. So if I'd run out of very strong, I'm going to do this one next. So that if I do run out, the next one could be paler. I mean, I'd like it to be dark, but it can be paler. I mean, I've actually run out of ink and touched the end of the pen to finish a page. That's perfectly okay. And I've been a bit boring. I've used pale, I've used dark and pale. I haven't had much of an effort, I have to say, of watercolor effects. And I'll show you the, I think it's Hannah Carlson's Daydreams, one of them. And it turned out really nice. Wish I'd done the other one in blue now. I could have done the other butterfly in blue. And I've read the book. I don't think they're the colours. I can't. Set to decide if we can put enough liquid in that one. If you're not very confident, use a smaller brush. So guys, almost finished this one. So thanks for stopping by. A bit more unusual on YouTube. Still haven't got used to the chat yet, guys, so it's a bit difficult to read. Oh, hi, Dan Monty. Anybody else I've missed? This is the biggest piece. So we've almost finished. I don't think I'm going to do much to this. I might put a pale one on there, but I'm hoping just to get to the end of these. And there was quite a lot of fiddly bits in this one, I have to say. I'm just going to, oops, I nearly had a blob on there then. I very nearly blobbed on there then. Very. Yeah, so now this is a bit paler. It's not going to matter. And I think I'm going to have to do that one. So I think I'm going to do this one next. Because in the end, they should look like a white border around everything. Hopefully, if I don't mess it up. And now I think I'm going to do I think I should have done it the other way, then there would have been a bit of a difference at the top. Never mind. It's a tiny bit of difference. Hopefully you can see. If anybody's I've still not got used to reading the chat on YouTube, so let's see if I can change that. So I haven't got very much left, and I've played with a tonal thing. Not too many pales, I have to say, but so we haven't got much more to do, and I've used almost all the blob. What I've got to do is just put, oops, I think I just fancy a little bit of dark there and there. I'm going to put 2 dollops of that. So I kind of like that. Oops. I kind of like that, guys. So I'm just going to do this now. And I would never normally do this, but this just lends itself to splatter inky mess because it's an inky butterfly. So we have got an inky butterfly, and I've used almost every scrap, so I'm quite pleased, and I actually quite like that. So very quickly I'm just going to wipe that because it may just stain. If I can pan out a little bit, just have a show. I'll just show. So this was one of them. So let me just go in one more. Yeah. So that's the one we've done today. And it's dried, so kind of like that. It's very similar to how I did the Inky. That's what gave me the idea for these inks. Derwent Graphy pens. But I have had a couple of occasional blobs. That's the one we did early with the blue. And it probably wasn't the right thing. So that was a purple one that I had. And I love that. I got some really nice effects on there. And give me 2 seconds. I can stand up. It's not. So these are these pens. This is a blob that I did by mistake. And I really didn't have any idea how I wanted to do that. That was an extra bit of blob as well. The crown was a blob. So if you get some extra ink, don't think you have to waste it. That was a blob of red. And I think I got 2 things out of that one. That was a blob of yellow. And got some beautiful watercolour effects. They're blobs. An orangey colour and the pinky red. That was a blob of the red, so I decided to do 2 red heads. That was a blob, and that's one of the first ones that I did, because again, I didn't think I would be able to colour these, so that worked out quite well. That was a blob too. That was a pink blob. And that was my first play with these pens, and that's what gave me the idea to mix the colours up. And this is how I wanted the ivy in the Inky butterfly. So sometimes doing something in one book helps you in another. Again, the inks, these inks, they're not designed to be used like this at all. This is another one. This is the first one I did. And that's the inky bit that I wanted in ivy and the Inky butterfly. And I think there might be another one. Yes, that was a colour that I was using these for the first time in this book. And I had a blob. So I coloured all this, and it was such a big blob that I coloured this one. And this is now one of my favourite pages. Even the hair, the skin, absolutely everything has a layer of blue. And because of that, I realised that these are the different colours. And when I got to here, I think I had a blob, and that's when I did the crown. So I was being really good, and I was starting from the front of the next page, and I had this blob. So if you can manage and control them, they're beautiful. But if you have a blob, you have to leave what you're doing and finish the blob in a monochrome, one colour. sorry, oh, knees. So I hope that sorted some colours out for you. I don't know if it's better with the light on or without the sun. So again, some of the insects I probably wouldn't have liked to colour, but because I had the blob, and again with the skull, I couldn't see me ever colouring that in. But now I can see, yes, I think that's going to be nice in purples. So the next time I have a purple blob, that's the page I'm going to go to. And again, there's quite a few in here that I didn't think I'd be able to colour. Again, I don't like the houses. So thanks, guys. I just thought I'd show you a little bit of that. They can be quite good fun to do. And again, I would have probably struggled with that one. But because I had this little well of colour that was going to dry out if I didn't use it almost immediately. And I had some beautiful, beautiful pale colours. I had some absolutely stunning colours that I probably wouldn't have got. Anybody got any question, guys? I think this is, I never thought I'd do red hair either, so that was quite a surprise as well to do red hair. So I suppose you could go through the whole book doing different sections of blobs. Give me the idea for the colours for the butterfly and this one as well. I really like these inky colours. And this one, really love the fact I was mixing blues and oranges and mixing the actual inks together. So they blend in from one to the other. Oh, thank you, Suzanne. I don't know if it is buffering. I don't know how it works. I'm going to try it from the other room and see if it's better. Obviously, the sun plays a big part in it. It was quite overcast this morning, but I did start at about 9:15 this morning, so I have been out quite a while. So I really wanted to use inks in this and little inky bits. So I'm quite pleased that I managed to get some inky effects. I think I've got one or two little green ones to do up there. I think most of that's finished. Oh, thank you, Katrina. Thank you. And I love the inky bit. I love it because it's inky. Oh, sorry, guys. I really can't do anything with the sun. Really sorry. I will try and sort the sun out for next week. So if I'm not busy at the weekend, I get all the things away. I'll stream live on Sunday, maybe Saturday or Sunday, to see to iron out any problems. And then because I'm not sure how to finish a video without finishing the stream. Again, I'm not quite sure about that one. Oh, thank you, Gala. Thank you, Dala. Anybody else? Thank you. So have a wonderful afternoon. If my daughter, I don't know who else comes on a Thursday. I think, is it Jean that's on later? About 6 o'clock US time. She's about midnight, I think, for us. 7 o'clock midnight for us, I think. I really wish I'd done the blue butterfly now here with the blue blob. I think the blue blob would have been lovely because this is the blue. the lady on the bird. That's the blue one. So I think they would look really good together. But never mind. I'm sure I'll have another blob. So I might have to do that as a resolution. I'm allowed to do that if I have a blob. So I'm pretty sure that these inks are going to last me to get through here. But if you go onto YouTube and type in how to use the graphic liner pens, they are completely different. You do not use them in a colour book. It's just I wanted some inks and they happen to be about. So you do need to shake them when you first start to use them. So hopefully that wasn't too bad. I'll have a look at it and see. I just need to find out how to stop a video without stopping a live stream. So that was Johanna Basford's Magical Jungle and Johanna's Inky and Ivy and the Inky Butterfly with Derwent's inks. Thanks for watching.